Hey, it's Alexis, and I just thought it would be fun to spend the next 2 days doing like bookish stuff. So we're gonna start this video off by going to the library book sale, and then it's also, independent bookstore day. So we're gonna go to one of my local independent bookstores and then see what else we get up to the rest of this weekend. So let's go into the library and see if there's any books that we want that are part of this library sale. Okay guys, so I haven't really talked to you much since I started the intro for this video. I just kind of went to the stores and then started another video. That's truly what happened. So now we're just gonna do a haul portion, and I'm going to talk you through the books that I ended up purchasing this weekend. Way more than I thought, if we're being honest, but it is what it is. So the first place that I went was the library book sale, and I ended up picking up 5 books there, one of which I already read and just wanted a physical copy of, and was like kind of happy that they had it because it was $2. But the rest of them, I don't really know anything about. The synopsis just sounded good, or I've heard that other people said they're good books, so hopefully I like all of these. But the one that I already read was Counting the Cost by Jill Duggar, and this is just basically her memoir telling the story of growing up on TV and how it kind of affected her, and then what happened when she left the TV show. A lot actually went on, but you learn more basically about her life and her religion and all that, and it was kind of an interesting read. And I know that some of her sisters have books too, so I might like listen to the audiobook of those at some point, but pick this one up. And then I picked up Lost at Sea by John Ronson. I think I said that right. I don't know anything about this. When I read the synopsis, when I was like looking at it at the library, it sounded good enough, so I bought it because it was $1. And I was like, worst case scenario, I don't like it, and it goes in a little free library. It says, in Lost at Sea, John Ronson investigates the strange things we're willing to believe in, from robots programmed with our loved ones' personalities to indigo children to the insane clown posse's Juggalo fans. He looks at ordinary lives that take on extraordinary perspectives. Among them, a pop singer whose greatest passion is the coming alien invasion, assisted suicide practitioners, and an Alaskan town's Christmas-induced high school mass murder plot. He explores all these tales with a sense of higher purpose and universality. Yet, they are stories not about the fringe of society. They are about all of us. It sounded very intriguing and interesting, so I thought I would give it a shot. And like I said, if I don't like it, it's just going to a local library. Then I picked up The Bookshop of the Brokenhearted by Robert Hillman. I really liked the cover of this one. But it says, can one unlikely bookshop heal two broken souls? It's 1968 in rural, I can't say that, rural Australia. And lonely Tom Hope can't make heads or tails of Hannah Babel. Newly arrived from Hungary, she's passionate, brilliant, and fiercely determined to open Sleepy hometown's first bookshop. Despite the fact Tom has read only one book in his life, when he installs shelving in Hannah's shop, the two discover an astonishing spark. Recently abandoned by his wife and still missing her sweet son Peter, Tom believes he might make Hannah happy. But Hannah has a past Tom can barely comprehend. 24 years earlier, she had been marched to the gates of Auschwitz. It sounds intense, so I picked it up because I was like, a book about books and other history facts could be interesting. And again, if I don't like it, I don't like it. The last two books I picked up, I'm pretty sure are both memoirs. But we have Talking as Fast as I Can by Lauren Graham. And I know that she was on Gilmore Girls, and I've never watched that show. I really want to. I just never have. So I thought that this could be fun to listen to her memoir and then hopefully watch the show that she was on. And then I picked up The Glass Castle by Jeanette Walls. This cover's kind of old and dirty, but I don't know. I've just heard amazing things about this, so hopefully I get to it and I actually like it, but we'll see. I don't really know anything about it, but I just heard everybody say that it's really good. So the next store that I went to was actually my local independent bookstore. So there's 3 of them in my area, but we had to get to Matt's softball practice, so we could only go to 1. But while I was there, I ended up picking up 3 books and a sticker. Plus, I got a sticker since it was Independent Bookstore Day. So let's quickly go through this haul. So first I got this bookmark, and it says, the man who does not read good books has no advantage over the man who cannot read them. Attributed to Mark Twain. I just thought that was really, really cool, and it was free. And then I also got this free sticker. There we go. It says, I love my independent bookstore, or my indie bookstore. I might put that on my Kindle. And then I also bought this sticker. She reads books as one would breathe air, to fill up and live. I just thought that was really funny, so I bought it. So the first book I picked up was An Academic Affair by Jodi McAllister, because again, it's a book about books, and I love those. So this one says, she's the one test he can't ace. Sadie Shaw and Jonah Fisher have been academic rivals since they first crossed paths as undergraduates in the literature department 15 years ago. In the cutthroat world of academia, opportunities are scarce and competition is ruthless. Now postdocs thrust into professional uncertainty, they'll both do anything to find some stability. So when a highly coveted teaching position comes up, their rivalry hits epic proportions. Jonah needs the job to move closer to his recently divorced sister and her children, while Sadie needs the financial security and freedom of a full-time teaching position. Enemies to lovers? I'm here for it. The next one, I've just been hearing a lot of people rave about this one recently, so I was like, okay, I'll give it a shot. So I picked up The Berry Pickers by Amanda Peters. First of all, love the blueberries on the cover. But this one says it's July of 1962, following the tradition of indigenous workers from Nova Scotia. I probably said that wrong. A family arrives in Maine to pick blueberries for the summer. Weeks later, 4-year-old Ruthie, the family's youngest child, vanishes. She is last seen by her 6-year-old brother Joe, sitting on a favorite rock at the edge of a berry field. Joe will remain distraught by his sister's disappearance for years to come. In Maine, a young girl named Norma grows up as the only child of a family. Her father's emotionally distant, her mother frustratingly overprotective. Norma is often troubled by reoccurring dreams and visions that seem more like memories than imagination. As she grows older, Norma slowly comes to realize there is something her parents aren't telling her. Unwilling to abandon her intuition, she will spend decades trying to uncover this family's secret. I've been hearing amazing things and it sounds amazing, so I'm so excited to give this a shot. So the last book that I picked up from the independent bookstore was The Last Murder at the End of the World by Stuart Turton. And I read The 7.5 Deaths of Evelyn Hardcastle by him and really, really liked it. So when I saw that this was at the bookstore, I was like, yeah, I'll give another book of his a shot because I really liked the other one I read. And then I saw this was autographed. So I was like, heck yeah. And it was on sale because independent bookstore day. So it comes with this map on the inside, which I thought was really, really cool. And then it's signed. So I'm really excited for this one. But it says, outside the island, there is nothing. The world was destroyed by a fog that swept the planet, killing anyone it touched. On the island, it is idyllic. 122 villagers and 3 scientists living in peaceful harmony. The villagers are content to fish, farm, and feast, to obey their nightly curfew, to do what they're told by the scientist. Until, to the horror of the islanders, one of their beloved scientists is found brutally stabbed to death. And then they learn that the murder has triggered a lowering of security system around the island, the only thing that was keeping the fog at bay. If the murder isn't solved within 107 hours, the fog will smother the island and everyone on it. When I read the synopsis yesterday, for some reason, the first paragraph of it was kind of giving me Animal Crossing vibes because it says, the villagers are content to just fish, farm, and feast and obey their nightly curfew. And I was like, in Animal Crossing, they go around fishing and eating crops and they all have to go to bed at a certain time. I don't know. That was just the connection my brain made and I was like, I need to read that book. So I'm really excited for this one. So next up I went to Books A Million because here's the reason this is the only reason we went to this store. They actually had book 6 in stock of Spy Family. I've been looking for this everywhere. They had 1 copy in stock. So we got it. And while we were there, we picked up a few other things. So I found these cute little signs. So this one says Romance Road, and this one says TBR Road. And I'm gonna put these on my bookshelf. I just thought they were really cute. I also bought a coloring book because I really like to color. Then I bought Annie Knows Everything by Rachel Wood. This was one of the books in my 26 new releases video. So I've been patiently waiting for this to release. But this one says that after getting let go from her job and learning her sister is engaged to the worst man alive, Annie needs a win. Luckily, she's able to talk her way into an opening on her company's data strategy team, whatever that means. So what if she doesn't know how to write code? How hard can it be? Anyway, I'm really excited to read this one, and I really hope I like it. And the last one I got from Books A Million, Matt actually found it in the clearance section and said, hey, I think you should read that. So I bought it because it was $4. But we picked up Take Me Home Tonight by Morgan Matson. And there's a picture of a dog on the back. I love dogs. But this says, 2 girls, 1 night, 0 phones. Kat and Stevie, best friends, theater kids, polar opposites, have snuck away from the suburbs to spend a night in New York City. They have it all planned out. They'll see a play, eat at the city's hottest restaurant, and have the best night ever. What could go wrong? Well, kind of a lot. They're barely off the train before they're dealing with destroyed phones, family drama, and unexpected Pomeranians. Over the next few hours, they'll have to grapple with old flames, terrible theater, and unhopeful cab drivers. But there are also cute boys to kiss, parties to crash, dry cleaning to deliver, don't ask, and the world's best museum to explore. Over the course of a wild night in the city that never sleeps, both Kat and Stevie will get a wake-up call about their friendship, their choices, and will finally discover what they really want for their futures. This is a young adult book, obviously, but it did sound really good. And I read the first two or three pages in the store and I was like, I'm vibing with the writing. So I'm like really excited to give this a shot. And then the last store that I went to today actually was Barnes & Noble, and I picked up 4 books there. So first we have The Paris Match by Kate Claiborne, and this one was also on my 26 new releases video. But it says, physician Layla Bailey has spent over a year telling herself she's moved on from a painful but amicable divorce from her college sweetheart. Staying friends with her ex seemed like the mature thing to do, but when Layla's invited to her former sister-in-law's destination wedding in Paris, where Layla once spent her own romantic honeymoon, she knows her commitment to maturity might be her worst enemy, especially since her ex isn't attending alone. Yes. This next book. So I saw this cover at the bookstore and I was like, wonder what that's about. And I started to read it, and I don't know if this is true. This is just my interpretation of it. I think this book gathered some inspiration from Shakespeare. So in my Shakespeare class last semester, we read Twelfth Night, and in that book, there's a character named Viola who has a twin brother named Sebastian. In this book, there's twins named Viola and Sebastian. And then there was a character in the play named Orson. Orson Grey is a character in this book. So I think that this had some inspiration from Shakespeare, but I could totally be wrong because I haven't read like the acknowledgments or anything. I was just going off of the synopsis. But anyway, this says that it's the 1990s and Susan Bliss is torn between 2 lives. In New England, she's a young mother married to a history professor. But in Los Angeles, she stars in Life and Times, a daily fixture on TV screens nationwide. It's the 2000s and twins Viola and Sebastian have no idea of their mother's fame. But the past can't stay hidden forever. As the siblings pursue the secrets their mother left behind, they spin off in different directions. While Sebastian thinks of their mother as a hero, Viola resents her for choosing a life other than theirs. But when she runs into her mother's charismatic co-star, Orson Grey, she finds herself falling deeply in love with a different version of the story. It's just kind of giving me that it's based off that play, which is fine, and I really loved the play, so I'm really excited to read this. But that's not really what I was expecting this to be about. And if you've read this, correct me if I'm wrong on this, but that's like totally my assumption on this. And if it is true, I'm very excited for it. And then I picked up Buckeye by Patrick Ryan. I've just been hearing really good things about this book, and it was $5 off. Why not get it now? But this says, in Ohio, a stolen moment of passion sparked an exuberant aftermath of the Allied victory in Europe binds Cal Jenkins, a man wounded not in war but by his ability to serve in it, to Margaret Salt, a woman trying to obscure her past. Cal's wife, Becky, has a spiritual gift. She is a seer who can conjure the dead, helping families connect with those they've lost. Margaret's husband, Felix, is serving on a Navy cargo ship out of harm's way, until a telegram suggests that the unthinkable might have happened. Later, as the country reconstructs in the post-war boom, a secret grows, but nothing stays buried forever in a small town. Against the backdrop of some of the most transformative decades in modern America, the consequences of that long-ago encounter ripple through the next generation of both families, compelling them to re-examine who they thought they were and what the future might hold. I'm excited for this. And then the last book that I bought, Matt actually saw this and was like, you should read that and then let me know if it's good so I can read it. And if my husband is picking out a book saying he's gonna read it, I'll read it first. Heck yeah, I will. So we picked up The Midnight Show by Lee Kelly and Jennifer Thorne. This is literally giving us the vibe of Saturday Night Live. So on the synopsis, it starts off with a definition for the word funny. And it says 1, causing laughter or amusement, hilarious. 2, the midnight show. 3, difficult to explain or understand, or odd. 4, both Lillian Martin and Lillian Martin's disappearance. In the 1980s, women aren't supposed to be funny, but when a group of college improv performers get the chance to join a new late night show, it's young comedian Lillian Martin who's the breakout star. The Midnight Show would go on to air every Friday night live from New York and revolutionize the landscape of TV and comedy forever. First, though, it would change Lillian's and her friends' lives. For some of the cast, lifelong friendships are made. For others, ever-changing romantic pairings test the group's bond, while meteoric fame and the drugs, parties, and mounting ambition that come with it leaves its mark. Lillian, in particular, seems destined for bigger things, until the winter night in Lower Manhattan that she vanishes, leaving nothing behind but questions. 40 years later, her disappearance still remains unsolved. When a budding journalist writing a retrospective on Lillian begins asking questions, she stirs up decades-old drama as well as tightly held secrets that some comedy legends would much rather keep buried. That sounds really good. So I'm glad that Matt picked this up and told me if I read it first, he'll read it. I'm really hoping I like it so that he likes it too. Anyway, I feel like I just unhauled so many books just to buy them back. Let me count these real quick to see if I even reached the number of the ones I unhauled. I hope not. I bought 14 new books, and then I bought a coloring book, and then I bought a book I already read. So total, over my last 2 unhaul videos, I've unhauled 47 books and I just brought 14 back. So yes, it's a lot, but it's not like I brought 47 books back into my house. So I'm proud of myself for that one. And I'm really excited to read all of these. So I think that's fine. But anyway, let me know if you guys read any of these books that I bought. And let me know if you think I'm gonna like them. I'm really hoping that I will. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching this video. Hopefully I will see you in my next one, and I hope you have a great rest of your day.